And you know what? Just like that is Monday.
All day.
Good morning. This is Qiana, and this is the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club.
The baddest show in the Bay.
Yes, it is brought to you by the New Image Project, better known as See That. And we are redefining what is cool
Because smart.
is the new gangster.
That's it. That's it. That's it. Good morning, Q.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing pretty good. Like the computer's doing its own little thing a little bit.
Mhm.
And so I'm trying to make sure I got it all together. So yes, but other than that, yeah, how was your weekend?
My weekend went very, very well. I had a really nice Mother's Day. Got a chance to honor some amazing mothers. I
Okay.
got a lot of women in my
Hey,
family. And we
hey.
have quite a few mothers. So it was actually really, really nice.
Okay.
And yours?
Mine was really nice. I hung out with my family, just like yours. We have a lot of women in our family as well. Hung out with my mom and Cheyenne, my aunts.
My goodness.
Big shout out to the Victors. They did Mother's Day dinner at their house.
Okay.
And so that was really nice. And then we did the balloon release. Remember, I said that we were going to do that. So thanks for everybody that came out to that. That was amazing. It wasn't a large crowd, but I didn't expect for it to be, especially since it was so last minute.
Right.
But to see, people write their letters on the balloons, and then we all released them at the same time. And the beauty is that they follow each other
Mm.
and you can see them go all the way up until like they almost disappear till they look just white.
Right.
And we had different colors in there, and just to see people, because people was a little hesitant. They was like, "No, I don't have to write." I'm like, "No, no, no, right."
Mhm.
Like, and it's up to you if you want to read,
Yeah.
but or not. It's when you write a letter, it's for that person.
That's it.
Yeah, it ain't for everybody else.
And memory is so important.
Hmm.
Memory is really what ties us to everything else.
It does.
We're only the extensions. I tell people all this time, people say, we are our ancestors' wildest dreams. I'm like, no, we just our ancestors. Like literally, our eyes we inherited from them,
Hmm.
and our eyes are the same eyes that they had hundreds of years ago.
Hmm.
So we're able to see the world with their eyes, and we are the evidence that they're here.
I could get.
And
I can. I think I can. Sign up with that.
yeah,
I think I might can subscribe.
yeah,
I'm
so
thinking, but yeah, so it is. I mean, the one thing is, and that's why I'm big on creating memories,
yes,
is because once life is gone, like you can't take away the pain,
hmm,
but nobody can steal the memories.
hmm,
You always have the memories, and the memories keep everything, living on.
I agree. I agree. As a person who is wedded to my life is wedded to memory, and the preservation of memory, I definitely agree wholeheartedly. I think that's why too, so we can be informed and critical of the things that go on every day
Hmm.
around us because we understand memory. You were talking a couple weeks ago. You were mentioning the saga that keeps uh, unraveling itself with the incarceration, first with the indictment, then the incarceration of Chairman O'Malley Taylor.
Yes.
And you made a plea to memory. You said, I don't want to be in a position where 20 years later,
Hmm.
we're watching the O'Malley Taylor story and it's just apathy from people on the sidelines.
Right.
And that was something that we brought up the Friday when we were speaking about the individuals who participated in the murder of Emmett Till. And we
Yes.
were talking about memory and the value of memory. Even the individuals who participated who were American Africans, the black people who went and held Emmett Till down,
Right.
wow, and tied the gin fan around his neck and threw him. What's his name? Lonnie Hoggins.
Yes. I think.
Yeah, and threw Emmett Till into the Tallahatchie River. But these people go unremembered. So even in
Hmm.
our liberation, we're called to remember, to think, to reflect. In Arabic, the word is dikra, and it means to actively reflect. Don't passively reflect, and that's what you did in the ceremony, in the remembrance ceremony. You asked people to actively reflect, and
Yes.
that is really a beautiful thing.
Good morning, Crystal. Good morning, Sharonda. Sharonda don't play.
Good morning. Good morning.
Listen, Sharonda get on here and start going straight to work. She is tagging everybody that she know.
Thank you
And
so
I
much.
love it. You know what I mean?
Right on, right on.
So yes. So yeah, that was so Sunday was really good.
Good.
Um Friday after I did a lot of running around. What was Friday? It was an event on Friday, wasn't it?
Friday was we have so many events.
We
They
do. But
they
then
fly
Saturday
by.
I was at Child's Park.
Uh-huh.
I mean Campbell's Park
For
for
the cookout.
the cookout.
Hmm.
That was nice. It was a nice little gathering there, and then the chalk
Festival. There
yes.
was a chalk festival.
Yeah, there
On the
was
Deuces.
on the Deuces. I rode by. I didn't have time to really stop, so it looked very nice. Everybody that went told me, "Yay!" I know Stephanie had an event, and they were doing living wheels,
Okay.
right there, and that was done free. It was so much going on in the
That's
city.
important. Living
It
wills
is.
are important. Uh, Very much so. So yes, definitely. And
Mhm.
then we had Sing, Puff, and Paint.
Oh, we definitely had Sing, Puff, and Paint.
You gonna tell us about it?
So I'm gonna tell you, if you missed out on Sing, Puff, and Paint, you missed out on a amazing time.
Walk us through it, Q.
So you want me to tell you the one thing I like about it? Oh, Friday. I know what it was. We had the adult game night.
You did the adult game.
Hi.
Please listen. As people who love adult games, please run down what adult game night.
So adult game night, we start off with just like any kind of random games you can play. You pick them up, take them to the table.
Right.
You and your friends, whoever can play them. Then we had ghetto bingo.
Okay.
Which was hilarious, right? I mean, you just have to have good people with you that likes to have fun, right? We did adult bingo. We did ghetto bingo. We did musical chairs.
Okay.
That was funny. Somebody even took off their shoes. Like it gets serious. It get real competitive.
Listen, when black folks take off their shoes,
they ready.
It's about to be something. When black person take off their shoes and race you, they about to run the fastest they ever
ran in their life, and you bet not lose.
No,
when you take out, if you took off your shoes, you bet not lose. You bet not lose. And then we did who. So it was a game where there was teams, and they said Ludacris, and you had to think of the best Ludacris song or the verse.
Right.
That was hilarious. They did Michael Jackson, Ludacris. They did Kendrick Lamar. They had some other people names that was pulled in there. But yes, good morning, Teresa. Good morning, Mama Blue.
Good morning.
Yes. So yeah, like Friday was an awesome night too.
Outstanding.
Yeah. Then now, Sing, Puff, and Paint.
Sing, Puff, and Paint. Come on now.
Okay, so listen. The next time y'all see a flyer for Sing, Puff, and Paint, get your tickets immediately, because I had to stop selling tickets because I had nowhere else for people to paint at.
Right.
But it's such a great vibe. It's nice R&B. It's a little hip hop, but it's real grown up. People got up and participated. Bobby Brown came out of retirement. Damian Davis did the thing. We also had Usher in the building.
Okay.
We had Music Soul Child, and then we can't forget Cheyenne, because Cheyenne is the host, and so she does what she do. But yeah, so it was a phenomenal time. Like great vibe. You can't go wrong with Urban Drinkery.
That's fantastic. Urban Drink is a really, really nice establishment.
Mm-hmm.
And Sing, Puff, and Paint is one of the baddest things going in the Bay, y'all.
Yes.
So y'all need to make sure you're there. Make sure that you get your tickets on time. Make sure that you book. Make sure that you make space. Make sure that you plan. And for adult game night, Qiana, now there was a rumor that there was some tunking going on, and there was people in there tunking. All I need to know, listen, I don't need to know what was put down. I don't need to know how much a game costs. I just need to know, if I come there again, will I see some tunking happening?
If you come there again and you want to play tunk is what it is.
Let's do it. I got a fresh set of drugstore 52s. let's do it.
Sharonda say absolutely was a vibe. Yes.
Cool bean.
I was hoping she got up. She said she was thinking about doing Janet Jackson. I wish Sharonda would have.
Oh, what song?
I don't know.
Anytime. Any place?
Probably call me Miss Jackson.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. But Sharonda, call us. You know the number 727-637-2416. Let me put the number out
So this is
there.
the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club, Tampa Bay, and we actually want to thank everyone for allowing us to be broadcasted in your homes, in your cars, on Facebook Live, or wherever you may be listening to this broadcast. We really do appreciate you, and we're the voice of the community.
We are. We are. And Damien just said, I just seen it. Bobby Brown brought the house down. Oh, Bobby Brown did bring the house down.
Okay.
Oh,
Bobby Brown can do it. Bobby Brown can
so
bring
if
down
you
the
get
house.
a chance, go look at my live. Go look at some of the lives. It was amazing.
I will.
So just kind of switching subjects. I know President Biden. Go ahead, I'll let you
Oof.
lead this.
Joseph Robinette Biden. All right. So President Biden spoke at the commencement ceremony for Howard University, one of the premier.
Oh, we got a caller. Hold on. We gotta hold that thought. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hey.
It's Miss Davis.
Oh, I already.
Good
I know
morning.
that voice. Go ahead.
Yeah. What was it? Saturday night. It was a vibe. Y'all missed it. Bobby Brown showed out twice.
Yeah. Bobby did get up there twice. You should have got up there with him, Bobby.
I did. I did it the second one because he was off tune. And I said, "Oh no, come on." But thank you so much for that. For the city meeting, we needed to get out away from the kids, and it was a vibe. I loved it. So thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Outstanding.
All right.
All
Have a
right.
good
And
day.
y'all have wait, it's the podcast tonight, right?
Oh, yeah, tonight. Tonight at 8, comedian Taurus from Tampa, Taurus the Bull, he's on 8 o'clock tonight live. It'll be shared on my page, but it's also just tap in or follow Damian Davis page, and then Wednesday night, 31 and Grand. But yeah, tonight is St. Pete Funny Podcast.
So tonight, St. Pete Funny Podcast, Wednesday night, 31 Grand.
Yes.
Outstanding.
Yes.
All righty.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So briefly unpacking, President Joseph Robinette Biden speaking at Howard University and saying as part of his commencement speech, we will ban the AR-15. It's very interesting. History is such a vital study because it doesn't only give us a perspective of the past, but it gives us an outlook on what our interests are. That's really why we study history. We don't study history just to remember things. We don't study history just to sound intelligent or like we have a grasp on topics. We study history for the purpose of understanding what our interests are, because your interests are directly tied to your history. Now, personally, I am only sitting in this seat on this microphone in front of this camera on this station due to the efficiency of a semi-automatic rifle and my grandfather having the will, having the ability, and having the balls to fight off white terrorism in Headland, Alabama as a sharecropper. Because he decided to take up the rifle and protect his family, we are in Florida. Yes. And I'm on this microphone. And my father was able to survive into adulthood. The audacity for a man who has Secret Service protection with him all the time to tell Americans, and not just all Americans. He didn't just say this in general. He's talking specific. We trust that he has enough rhetorical prowess to know his audience, right? We know he knows who he's talking to.
Yes.
He's talking to an audience full of black people. And he tells an audience full of black people that what I'm going to do on your behalf as your benefactor is remove from you the opportunity for you to have an opportunity to defend yourself. I'm removing from you the means by which you can produce your own defense. Remember that, means of production, because means of production is how everything is controlled. I'm taking away from you one of the means by which you can defend yourself. And then to call this move progressive, to say I'm doing this because I'm being progressive. Well, let's see how progressive. Let's just look through history and see how progressive President Joseph Robinette Biden is being. Let's see the first time this message of banning weapons for self-defense was put out to the nation. Even before there was an America, we have in 1640 in Virginia, which is right in the backyard of where Howard University is currently, race-based total gun ban and ban on self-defense. It said prohibiting Negroes, slave and free, from carrying weapons, including clubs. This is in 1640. 1640 also, that such free mulattoes, Negroes, and Indians shall appear without firearms. 1712, South Carolina, same deal. An act for better ordering and governing of Negroes and slaves, they shall not be armed. 1791, Second Amendment of the Constitution says that a person being a citizen of the United States shall not have their right to self-defense via the owning of firearms or bridge. Nope, nope, nope. 1792, blacks excluded from the militia. Why? Because the militia says that they should be able to own firearms. 1806, Louisiana, complete gun control and self-defense ban. Black Code, Chapter 33, Section 19, Laws of Louisiana, page 150 and 160. 1811, complete gun ban for all enslaved or free African people in Louisiana. Forbid the sale or delivery of firearms to these individuals. 1825, let's go back home. Florida. What did Florida say in 1825? Florida said, now this is not me saying this is your history. An act to govern patrols. 1825 Acts of Florida 52 through 55, Section 8 provided that white citizen patrols shall enter into Negro houses and suspected places and search for arms and other offensive and improper weapons, and may lawfully seize and take away all such arms, weapons, and ammunition. Section 9 provided that an enslaved person might carry a firearm under the statute, but it has to be overseen by his white overseer. Now, we call these laws progressive, and it doesn't stop there. Excuse me. It doesn't stop there. That was 1825, though. That was almost exactly 200 years ago. And we're calling these anti-quote-unquote AR bans, gun bans. We're calling these anti-sentiments of these things progressive. But how's it progressive if he's pulling from a model that was 200 years old? Explain this to me, somebody. We understand that words have meanings. We understand that progressives look to the future for solutions. They don't look to the past, right? Conservatives look to the past, right? What is more conservative than looking 200 years in the past trying to find a way to disarm African people in the United States? What is more conservative than that, Joseph Robinette Biden? Please explain that to me. I'll tell you what. Let's do this. Let's do a thought experiment before we go to break, right?
Oh, we're almost. Oh, we're almost there.
Yeah, we're right up on our break. Let's do a thought experiment before we go to break. How many times have you ever heard President Biden talk about banning salt and sugar? Salt and sugar kill more black people than all of the AR-15s ever produced in the history of the United States. That heifer that's on the Morton salt thing, walking around with the umbrella and dropping the salt on the thing. That heifer done killed more black people than any other group in America. If you go to Domino Sugar, just ride down to Pahokee and Belglade. Take a look and see at all of the sugar that's produced and all of the sugar that we consume. And then, to add insult to injury, the sugar will kill us, the salt will kill us, and we'll talk about the family that has the funeral repast if their food don't have sugar and salt in it.
Because it's nasty. We wanted to have a little flavor. We can't eat nasty stuff now. Why would we do that? Okay.
Yeah, so it makes
well, you know
wonder.
what? So I mean, we're looking at it. I know gun gun control is a big topic here.
It
Know
is.
what I mean? And it's you're either on one side or the other. There's really this is one of the things that you're usually not in the middle of. Like, there's a lot of gray and a lot of stuff. This one I'm finding, and I may change, it may change throughout, but right now I believe that this is like you either on this side or you on that side. Yeah, you're not somewhere in the middle. And if you are, call up, let me know, because I don't know too many people that are. Now, I do believe in the right to carry. The ban, for me, I'm thinking like bad people are gonna do bad stuff regardless. You know what I mean? But the citizens need to be protected. And I know some people be like, well, you don't need an AK. You know what I mean? You don't need, you know.
People say that all the time.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you, people who say that typically don't carry.
You know why? They typically say that they don't care? Because these are the individuals who have access to state power, usually. Usually they know that if they just say, I feel threatened, they can get on the phone. And when they get on the phone, individuals will come who are armed and provide security for them. If you live in a gated community that has a guard in the front of the gate, and you say that you don't want somebody to be armed
okay, I bet
around
you this Yubi. Hello. Caller.
Hey, just calling in. Hey, just calling in before the break. This is the one and only Mr. Edmund.
Mr. Edmund. Good morning, Mr. Edmund.
So I had to call in, y'all. So listen, my whole thought on the AR-15 ban, right? I think that it is simply posturing, because there are many other guns out there besides the AR-15. They got the AR-16, they got the AR-17, they got the AR-19, they got the P-90, they got you just name them. And I think what it is political posturing, because the AR-15 has made a name for itself. But then what about the AR-14, right? What about the AR-13? Do some research, and you will see that the gun manufacturer will just manufacture a different gun. Y'all have a good break, and I may come in. I'm trying to charge my card now, so I'll be there.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so very much,
well, come on.
And that's a really good topic, Mr. Edmund. We're going to pick that up on the other side of the break.
We really is. And before we go, because salt and sugar are self-inflicted and guns are instantly, you instantly die. So it's saying that you do it to yourself. This is UB. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I was reading the comment.
Let's unpack that, brother.
We'll do that. So it is 8 minutes. I mean, it's 8 o'clock. We're gonna take the 7-minute break. We'll be back. Please tag a friend, share the page, send some stars if it's in your heart. If it's not, just send them anyway, because you follow directions.
We're controversial with our love.
Yes. All right, we'll be back at the top of the hour.
After Israel killed 33 Palestinians over 5 days.
WUJM, St. Petersburg.
Return to life, fishing, working, and breathing again. We can move in and out and try to make a living from fishing and to move around without being harassed.
The ceasefire in Gaza comes as Palestinians mark the 75th anniversary of what they call the Nakba, the Arabic word for catastrophe, when over 700,000 Palestinians fled or were violently expelled from their homes in 1948 when Israel was founded. We'll speak to 2 Palestinians who've traveled to New York as the United Nations today officially commemorates the Nakba for the first time. We'll also speak with Peter Beiner of Jewish Currents.
There are powerful forces in this Israeli government that would like to try to bring about another mass expulsion. A whole series of ministers in this Israeli government have talked favorably about the idea of an effort to remove large numbers of Palestinians from the West Bank or even from Israel proper.
All that and more coming up. Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. In Turkey, the closely watched election that will determine whether President Recep Tayyip Erdogan will remain in power appears headed to a May 28th runoff, as Erdogan fell just short of the 50% of votes needed to win outright. Erdogan's 2-decade-long grip on power was challenged by the lead.
Hello, I'm Gabe Ortiz, and this is WEDU Arts Plus. Based out of St. Pete, the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club is a morning radio show about hip-hop life and urban culture. Meet the hosts who inform and empower their listeners.
I'm Jabbar Edman. I go by Mr. Edman. My role, I'm a host and I'm co-founder.
My name is Brother John Muhammad, Your Brother John, YourBrotherJohn.com. And my role on the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club is host or co-host.
I just go by Qiana. Sometimes you may hear the guys call me Q. I may say Q just depending on my personality that day. And I'm the female of the crew. I think I keep balance when you look at the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. So that's my role.
And I'm Bruce Moore Jr. A lot of people do know Bruce Moore Jr., obviously being born and raised here and going to school here, but there's many more people that know Reno.
St. Pete is small, and so the good things and bad things that come with a small city, you know, everybody knowing each other, of course, would be one of the pluses.
My neighbors were not only just my neighbors, they became my family.
Trying to put that back now, like really getting back to a place where we know our neighbors and we look out for each other. It was a St. Pete that existed, you know, south of Central, and then there was another St. Pete that existed north of Central and downtown. It was a struggle then, and I think it's still, you know, somewhat a struggle for Black people in the city of St. Pete.
Even with every step of progress we make, it's still a struggle to, implement that progress.
Did y'all hear about the weed college, the first cannabis college?
In Orlando.
Talk to us, Soprano.
No, yeah, I've been looking at it.
This is serious, y'all.
Over a year ago.
If you got the charges, go and get the degrees, King. You got years of experience, man. It ain't like you come into a classroom with no data.
Elon Musk said that a drug dealer knows how to manage and run a business better.
I can't believe that.
The real facts, man.
I'm all about education. But what I'm saying is that we carry this industry on our backs.
The way we started the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club, Jabbar approached me about what could we do, how can we do something together, and then an opportunity to promote Amendment 4. Amendment 4 is the, voting rights restoration to returning citizens. We were able to negotiate a deal where we got like 30 minutes on the radio, got 99 jams to talk about, Amendment 4 and other local, policies.
Pain as well as the trauma of the attacks. This is a young girl in Gaza.
My childhood feelings and dreams were all in this house. I was brought up in this house. I used to have fun, study, and play here, and all my siblings' toys were in it. We lived the most beautiful days of our lives here, but when they destroyed it, we do not know where to go.
In the occupied West Bank, 3 Palestinians were reported killed during Israeli raids in or near Nablus in recent days. This all comes as Palestinians mark the 75th anniversary of what they call the Nakba, when hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, over 700,000, were forcibly expelled from their homes before and during the formation of the State of Israel in 1948. In Burma, at least 6 people were reported dead after a powerful cyclone made landfall on Sunday. Cyclone Mocha is one of the most powerful storms to hit the region. Several hundred Rohingya refugee shelters were torn apart, while the capital of the northwestern Rakhine state was almost completely destroyed. Power and communication lines have been disrupted, with aid workers struggling to reach areas in need. The cyclone also triggered massive floods and landslides in neighboring Bangladesh. In Kenya, the death.
And just like that again.
We are back.
Yes, we are. This is Qiana.
And this is the intellectual gangster, your brother Donnie.
And this is the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club, brought to you by the New Image Project, better known as
See That.
And we are redefining what's cool.
Because smart
is the new
gangster.
Yes, it is.
Best believe it.
Okay, so before we left out when we left out on our break, we were talking about the AR bans, right?
We were talking about the AR ban, and we were saying if the AR ban is done as a matter of public safety, then we have to really look at what public safety means and what public safety is.
Mm-hmm.
I am very biased in this one, and my bias is that
you're typically always are.
Yeah, I am.
You're either like you might wear a gray shirt, maybe. I don't even think you own a gray shirt.
No, I'm on one side of it.
Yeah, you're usually like, if you whatever side you own, and you don't waver.
I try not to, not unless I find better evidence, that pushes me in that direction. But I think it's very hypocritical, very, very, very hypocritical to have individuals who are in the public service positions who have at their disposal armed security at all times. I think it's very hypocritical for them to say, for your safety, I'm going to take away your ability to protect yourself.
So what about the people who believe, because you believe that you should have your guns, right?
Yes.
And then there's other people who be like, ban them. You know what I mean? And so I understand now, this is the other side of the pancake for me, is I understand he's the leader of all and he's listening to everybody. And then you have these mass shootings and the pressure is on for you to go either way. You know what I mean? And not to stay silent about this conversation. Most Democrats, we don't subscribe to all, but most Democrats want, bans or harder gun laws
for citizens.
Right.
Because these are the same individuals who say we support our troops.
And then we also have
and they're not sending unarmed people overseas.
They're not. But they think that they should be, they should have their weapons.
They think that the troops should have their weapons?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, definitely. They think these troops should have weapons of mass destruction. This is a reality. And then you ask them, well, why are they doing this? They say, well, because they're protecting freedom. But what's more of a protection of freedom than protecting your life? And then they say, well, they'll determine how then you can protect your life. They can determine what you can have in order to protect yourself. And I think that is egregious. I think like Huey P. Newton said, he said, any unarmed population are either slaves or subject to slavery at any time.
Right.
And I think that if the president is thinking about the broad group of all people, but he's speaking at Howard and he's speaking particularly to Black people, I think then it's a form of cultural arrogance, and he needs to learn some cultural humility. I think it's a form of cultural arrogance to see a community that has been the most victimized by terrorism in its 400-year sojourn in the West than any other community aside from Indigenous Americans. I think for him to make that point of saying that and then to expect an applause is extremely arrogant.
But when people think that when they know their audience, right? And then they give the speech for the audience, they think this is what the audience want to hear, right? Now, I'm going to say this, when I think about it, is that you have time to do the speech any other time, but you did decide to do it at a graduation, not only at a graduation, but a Black graduation, right?
HBCU, yes.
And then when you look at it, realistically, even though the ban is called, he alone can't make that decision, right?
Yeah, he won't alone.
So when you look at it, is this a broken promise that you're making to people who really do want it? Because once it goes to the House and everybody else, they're going to shoot it down. But you can at least say, I tried.
It's a magic show. It's a magic show. I think he's playing with the game of faith. And again, I don't sit on one side. I stand by this as an academician, as a thinker, and as a person who doesn't believe much in faith. Faith is not a reliable way to truth. Faith has never been a reliable way to truth. Faith, again, I say it like Umar 3 times, huh? Faith is not a reliable way to truth. Because you can have faith in something that's right, and you can have faith in something that's wrong. So if you can equally have faith in something that's wrong and have faith in something that's right, that means it's not a reliable way to truth. Evidence is a reliable way to truth. So the faith that he's kicking off, he understands that this quote unquote ban will, if it does anything else, it just increase the number of Black people that's in prison. Because they'll be in violation of the ban, which they won't be. That won't happen. Listen, if chicken is outlawed, then only outlaws have chicken. That's the truth. But it's again, it's another law, another idea that if I can swoop in as the white savior, then I can offer you guys enough faith to elect me into my twilight campaign of 2024.
Okay, there we go. If y'all have anything to say about this ban, I mean, because I know some of our listeners are, you know what I mean, are with the ban. I want to hear your perspective on it. Give us a call, 727-637-2416. And here at the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club, we're collective, and we all, even though we have a common goal, we all think different. Brother John does not carry.
No.
You know what I mean? He don't want nothing to do with it. Period, point blank. Me and you do.
Yes. Indeed. In fact, I carry double for Brother John.
Right.
I carry from no, I'm just listen, that's a joke, y'all. Don't think that I'm Brother John's.
So, but all jokes aside, if you are carrying, because there is a myth, and we talked about this, like gun registration, right?
Yes.
If you know, when you think about it, if you don't know, here in the state of Florida, there's really no registration here in the state of Florida that they have. Unless when you originally buy your gun, they're going to sign it out to you and say that this is your gun, and they make sure that you have your gun license. Yeah. After that, if you sell it or anything else, it's really like a piece of paper that you can do in 2.2 seconds. And I can say, hey, I sold this to Donnie, and there, it is now his gun.
It's a bill of sale. Now legally, you have to, ask if I'm a felon.
You do.
Yeah, you have to put you through the paces. But when a person purchases a firearm, the call is made usually to the FDLE to do a background check. So people think, they're getting these firearms and then they're not background checks done. No, that's not true. Anytime you legally purchase a firearm, there's a background from a firearm distributor. There's a background check that you go through. I understand. Right. And from a gun show, it's a background check is done by the FBI.
Right. And that's why if you already don't have your gun license, you cannot take your gun with you.
You can. Yeah, there's a 3-day period.
It's a 3-day period, and then you have. Yep. And then you have to you have to go pick it up. Yeah. Okay, caller. Introduce yourself.
Hey, I just love this show. This is the one and only Mr. Edmond. Call him back.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Edmond.
I want to drop a few jewels on, so this weapon ban is really coming out of the last couple of school shootings and mass shootings. So a lot of people don't know the AR-15 is the weapon of choice for mass shooters. Almost every mass shooter.
That's not true.
Almost every mass shooter
that's not true.
Have used
AR-15. Let me tell you why. I don't mean to cut you off, but let me tell you why. A mass shooting is described as any time 4 or more people are shot in any setting, right? How often? Think about this. How often have we heard of 4 or more people being shot? Nobody even has to be killed. But 4 or more people are shot all the time. We have 4 or more people shot down on the south side when they had the gloves up, guns down, when the individuals start firing into the crowd. So when we talk about mass shootings, we have to put in that not necessarily the ones that are mass publicized, but the ones that happen every day on the block when a dude has a pistol and he let loose and 4 people get hit. Let's say you get hit with a ricochet. It's still considered a mass shooting. So I understand what you're saying. And the AR-15 is portrayed as the rifle that is most used in mass shootings. But mass shootings are anytime actually 3 or more people get shot at any particular place and time. And if we look at all of the weapons that are used over the country, then AR-15s are not the predominant weapon for that particular thing.
Okay, let me say it like this. The shooter that the white people go into schools and shoot people with, being AR-15s. That's all. And what I'm saying is the ban is more symbolic than actual effective. Like I said before, there's a lot of different weapons. There's the Draco. You can name SKSs. There's a lot of weapons out there. And what we have to do is look past the smoke screen, because the reality is we're not more safer when they ban the AR-15 because somebody. Do y'all know what AR-15 come from?
Yes.
It's when they ban the AK-47s and mass, what do you call it, the 80 crime bill. Right. I want to say Joe Biden wrote that too.
He was definitely instrumental on the ban, quote unquote assault weapons ban in the 80s and 90s.
He wrote. I want to say he wrote it.
Yeah,
I want to say he wrote it. And you know what they did? They went and made a gun. You know what gun they made? The AR-15.
Yeah, the AR-15 was created by the Armalite company, and then people don't know the AR in AR-15 means Armalite, and the 15 means Model 15. The reason why the AR-15 is so popular is because it's extremely efficient. It's a very well engineered rifle, and the history of Black people in America and rifles, as far as self-defense goes, it was illegal for years for Black people to own rifles in the South. Because what lynch mobs would do is they knew if you only had a shotgun, they could stand at 150 paces away and pick you off. Because rifles have the ability to naturally fire at longer ranges and more powerful projectiles. The AR-15 is the boogeyman. It's the boogeyman of individuals who want to infringe on the rights of individuals to be able to produce their own means of self-defense. In my opinion, well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Edmond, you are really good at popular culture. Like, you know, hip hop back and forth. Well, you know, popular culture. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask this question to our listeners as well. How many times, if you can, not even how many times, name one time in any hip hop song where you've ever heard anyone say anything negative about Glocks, that they didn't like Glocks, that they would prefer not to use a Glock. When has the name Glock ever come up and somebody says, you know what, that's not my choice? Think about it. Really think about it.
They do.
Can you run me? But can you run me off a line from a popular song where a person says something negative about a Glock?
It says something about don't put something about FN or something. I can't remember it because I'm not a big hip hop. Like, I don't remember that jump, but I get the point what you're making. But one of the things that I wanted to say is that we have to, in some way, shape, or form, you know, not jump at every time they say jump, right? Sometimes when they say jump, duck. When they say duck, jump. Right, just do the opposite of what these people want, because I think a lot of this is manufactured. I think they sit home and they think about this stuff so deeply. So he contemplated doing that on a Black school campus because you know Black people are dealing with a lot of gun violence. He know that a lot of Black leaders have come to him talking about gun violence. So what he tried to do is try to have perfect timing. That was like a segue. He thought that was like a segue. But what I think the issue at heart is, y'all said it, is the salt and the sugar. You know, we dying from diabetes, we dying from heart disease, we dying from heart attacks more than anything else. And if we don't start focusing on those things, I think that we're going to be got by the smoke screen, right? We're going to be got by the smoke screen, and we still going to go, and we're going to go to that depth, and we're going to eat some more sugary and salty food and say, hey, this is how we want to eat, and not realizing that we got to eat to live, and we can't just eat for our appetite or eat to be satisfied. We have to eat to live and eat to get the nutrients we need. All right, I'm going.
All right, bye-bye.
Hopefully we'll see you soon, brother.
Yes, hopefully. I don't know. The way he talking, I don't know. But he said he was charging up his car.
He did.
So he might don't come in. Okay, Qiana Rucker say, yes, very engineered. Won't be giving mines up.
Come on.
Right. I mean, I'm not giving up mines either. When you look at it, but I know so, but I'm one of them people, like, do what's best for you and your family that you feel that you need to do to protect yours. I want to protect mine. And too much money being made with salt and sugar. No, that's your wife.
And exactly. Exactly. So you wonder then, okay, well then where does his priorities lie? Thank you, Crystal, for that one. Where does his priorities lie? Is his priorities with saving life, or is his priorities with being too afraid to tell Black people what's actually killing them? You know, this is the same man who was on board with now, we got to remember who we're talking about now. Joseph Robinette Biden. This is the man who said Jesse Helms never called me boy. You know, and I've gone to Monroe, Louisiana. I've seen what Jesse Helms told Robert Williams, or Jesse Helms' father, who was a sheriff's deputy, told Robert Williams and company that he would string them up from the highest light pole in downtown. I've been downtown in Monroe, Louisiana. So, I mean, let's remember who we're talking about here.
Hello, caller.
Hey, good morning. How y'all doing?
Good morning, Yubi.
Listen, so they raise this issue all the time. This is part of a political stance, but it's not because of what y'all think it is. It's because the NRA raises the money and supports who the candidate who they want. So they basically buy the person that they want.
Mm-hmm.
And so every time they'll say, okay, we're going to do a ban. And basically that's like a signal to the NRA. We're going to cut your pocket a little bit if you support or donate money to the person's cause that's going to go against us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more of a political thing. If you look at the sponsors to mostly the front runners or that, they'll be, oh, I'm pro NRA. And then look who donate the money. It'll be the NRA.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so then they'll come out and say, we're going to do a weapons ban. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. I mean, this ain't the first time this been done. So to Brother Donnie's point, he is correct on that about we look at history. This ain't the first time it's been done, but what is the motive behind why is it being done?
Mm-hmm.
And to my point about the salt and the sugar, you can control salt and sugar. You can change your mind on salt and sugar. If I shoot you with a gun, you don't get no second chance.
No, but you had to control the idea of shooting the person with the gun. That's the thing.
Yeah, I can control it. Correct.
And we're indoctrinated into a culture that is both violent and is both sweet and salty. I mean, that's part of being who we are, and not taking anything away from whether you're spot on. It was political posturing that tried to look like it was cultural benevolence, and it wasn't at all. We're not fooled by Joseph Robinette Biden or any other politician when they do this. They just had. I think they said 30 Palestinians killed in a week in Israel.
Mm.
I mean, if you're talking about gun violence, then let's look at the IDF. Let's look at the Israeli Defense Forces, which is a defense forces for an apartheid state. How many guns are funneled from the United States legally
and
sold? Yeah, exactly.
We support war because we fund both sides, and we only give them our old guns or our old technology. So if this country and this country fighting, we don't care who wins. We gonna fund you. We gonna fund them. That's part of how we make money. That's one of the reasons why when people say the dollar is going to be a problem, it's gonna crash. Hey, listen, if they don't do what we want for the oil, then guess what? We take their guns away, or we give their enemies the guns to kill them.
Yeah,
or we do it ourselves. That's the American way.
It's a really good book called Tales of an Economic Hitman. I'm sure you read it, and that's something that's very clearly stated in that book, and that's the truth. That's been the contemporary history of the United States.
But I just wanted to share that point that I do totally I agree with some of it, but I'm just saying some things we do is self-inflicted to ourselves. We can stop the things that's self-inflicted to ourselves. We don't need no savior. We don't need no Superman. We don't need no pie in the sky. We don't need it. We can stop that. We can eat healthy. We can do things better. We can be more informed, just like y'all are with y'all weapons. Hey, y'all come out, hey, show people, hey, listen, this gun didn't kill nobody. But if I choose to do something stupid, then I did it.
Right on.
Right. It is definitely the person. It is definitely the person.
I mean, because one of the things that if you see something and you get more educated with it, the fear goes away.
Mm-hmm.
Then the fear monger will come in and say, well, I need to do this. I need to do this to save you, to help you to do this.
Mm-hmm.
There's no fear no more. You know what I mean? There's no. I'm one of the biggest things I used to hear is the drug dealers selling drugs to kids. These kids ain't got no damn money. It's okay. But I'm digressing. I'm gonna leave y'all with that. Y'all have a beautiful day. But I do agree with your point. And keep in mind that this same guy, Joe Biden, he didn't want his kid. I don't want my kids going to that jungle with them kids. I don't want them going to school. This was his exact words.
Hold on now, you. Whoa. Let's remind us about a time in Delaware when they were turning over buses. And Joseph Robinette Biden. Come on now. And Joseph Robinette Biden was leading the charge against individuals having access to equal education and enforcing the Brown versus Board of Education 1 and 2 laws to desegregate schools. We're talking about a northern segregationist here, a man who was best friends with Strom Thurmond. And Strom Thurmond is going to held a 24-hour filibuster against the Civil Rights Act. Let's not see. It's hard with historians, man. We will ruin your movie and we will kill your fairy tale because we don't forget.
And I'm not watching no movie with you. I'm just telling you right now. Because I'm not doing it. I'm not watching no movie with you. Don't ask me to watch no movie with you unless it's a documentary. And I don't even know if I want to watch the documentary
Have you
with
watched
you.
the Whitney Houston movie?
The new one? Because they done did a few of these Whitney Houston movies, right? Okay. And yeah, I did not watch the new one.
Okay.
Let me say that. I watched the one, and I figured out. Sharonda say, "Me either, cute." Not watching the movie. I figured so. It was another movie. I can't think of who it was, but I realized it was Whitney. They didn't call her Whitney in this movie. And they portray, yeah. And once I watched it, I realized I was like, "Oh yeah, this Whitney."
Yeah, I briefly started watching I Want to Dance with Somebody, and it's not a critical review of the film. But I don't know much about Whitney Houston, and I grew up in a house where roles were very, very separated, and so although my sisters loved Whitney Houston, usually what my sisters did I didn't do.
Okay.
So I didn't fall into that mold. So I didn't really understand. I never really liked her music. Like I really didn't like Whitney Houston's music. It was okay, but I was more in the Temptations, Led Zeppelin kind of.
Well, I will tell you this: everybody is entitled to their opinion. Right?
I must have stepped on toes.
No, you didn't. I mean, because you know what sounds good to you may not sound good to everybody else, right?
Right.
I'm definitely a Whitney fan. Most people is, but when Whitney was what?
We got a really good answer.
Okay, so when Whitney at her height, her fan base wasn't us either. You know what I mean? They complained that she was too white. You know what I mean? Because she kind of went over there to the pop side. And that's not really what she wanted to sing either. She did that to sell records. But I mean, Whitney is Whitney. So,
I guess she has a place on this pantheon. I've never been a Whitney Houston. I've always been a Madonna fan. I'm the world's biggest Madonna fan. And not because of the way Madonna looks, but I just think her groove is really smooth. But I never could get down with Whitney Houston. I never could get down with Whitney Houston. And it sounds weird.
We're taking your black. It's officially.
Oh man,
it's gone.
But yeah, I just couldn't. I couldn't swing Whitney.
No, I'm gonna start playing Whitney every time you see me.
When I was in Spain this summer, I was living in a barrio called Aravaca, which is in a barrio Madrid that's far away from the center of Madrid. And every morning, our neighbors would come out and see us when we come sit out on the terrace. Our neighbors would see us and they would play Whitney Houston. I said that was a welcome. I imagine that was a welcome for us, but it was pretty interesting. Yeah, she definitely had an international appeal, but not for me. No one would ever catch me playing a Whitney Houston song.
That's fine. I guess. I mean, you're entitled to poor taste.
Touche. Cute. That's what we call it. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, music is music. We find it, and I'll say there's millions of people that like Beyonce, and then there's also millions of people that don't. You know what I mean? There's some people who love Jay-Z, and there's some people that don't. Drake, I mean, you'll find them in there, and I mean, honestly, that's what makes this world beautiful is that we can decide what we put in our atmosphere and what we, you know what I mean? And if Whitney didn't do it for you and Madonna did, go ahead on.
Oh man, and I'm not comparing the two. I'm just saying.
No, because you can't.
Yeah, because Madonna's way better.
Way better than Whitney. I think they're starting the petition right now to kick you off of the show. I might sign it with them.
If the material girl gets me the book, then I can take a vote for the material.
Okay, I'm just gonna say, yeah. I think this is All right. So I mean, go ahead. You said the Ask Qiana. Did you? All right. Did you tell the book of the day yet?
I did not.
Okay, tell the book of the day.
You had to get me off this thing because I said Whitney wasn't.
Oh no, I'm trying to keep you employed over here.
Cheyenne sounds way better than Whitney Houston. Way better than Whitney Houston, and I've listened to them both.
You listen to them both. I'm just
know.
saying, Shy can definitely do her thing.
Way better than Whitney Houston can.
Okay. Go ahead.
And that ain't just because I love Shy, which I do, but yeah. So the
go ahead.
We're talking about motivating. We're talking about putting something on people's mind. It's Monday, right?
Yeah, this is Motivated Monday, Making Monday, so all of the great stuff.
It's a really great book called The Counter-Revolution of 1776, Slave Resistance and the Origins of the United States of America by Gerald Horne. What Dr. Gerald Horne does, and remember, he's the guy who gave us the perspective on colonialism and white settler colonialism in the 16th century, 17th century. Okay, so now we're moving into the 18th century.
Okay.
So this is almost a part 3.
Okay.
But what he does is he shows how slave resistance movements in the resistance movements of enslaved African people in the New World actually led to the creation of the United States. And it actually led to the laws that go into supporting, underwriting, and buttressing the ideas of colonialism and the ideas of whiteness and white supremacy in the United States. And it was slave revolutions, slave rebellions throughout the Caribbean that did this. And remember now, we're talking around the same time, 1776, we're talking on the eve of the Haitian Revolution. We're talking about a revolution, a slave resistance movement that's already happened in Jamaica, that's already happened in Suriname, that's already, which was the Dutch West Indies, already happened in the islands that were controlled by the Netherlands, already happened in parts in Cuba, already happened in parts in Puerto Rico. That's how we get the city of Loíza. And already happened, and it's coming toward the Dominican Republic, the area that we call Dominican Republic, the island of Hispaniola. We have a man named Mackinac who's led a rebellion there in the mid and late 1700s.
So that book goes through all of that?
Through all of it, and it shows that the ideas that we have for the modern nation state are ideas that are coming from the resistance of African people, throwing off tyranny, the ideas that of certain unalienable rights endowed by their creator.
Okay.
These are ideas that come from African people walking to Stono and carrying signs headed to Stono that says liberty in the front. People who they thought couldn't read or write, they're carrying signs that they've written that says liberty. So, this is shocking the hell out of individuals who are
wait, how you wrote that? How you wrote that? That's what.
How did you get this concept? Because once you can write something, you can think about it. This is why writing is so important. This is why plagiarism is such a dangerous thing, because writing teaches you how to think sequentially. Right? If you can't think, then you can't write, and if you can't write, then you can't think. So here are people who've taken the language, taken the ideas. Long before there was a Constitution, a Declaration of Independence, Articles of Confederation, African people had already taken the idea of taking up arms for freedom struggle. Isn't that interesting how this all seems to come full circle?
It always does. So we're going to say, get this book, right?
Get it today.
We give out books. Donnie, he brings books every day, just in case. Just in case. But Mondays is always a day that you're going to get a new book. And I mean, if you ever read them, chime in, let us know. We want to know what you think about it. So here at the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club, we throw a lot of stuff out here, right? So one thing that we're going to do is a defense course.
Yes.
Right. One to teach people how to defend themselves. And we're also going to do gun training.
Yes. Unarmed and armed defense.
Yes.
And so we have the professionals. We have access to the professionals. We have access to individuals in the industry. I, for one, was an industry professional for years. And we still have access to individuals in the industry. So this as a service to the community and just as a form of education.
Right. So not only are we giving you books on Monday to read, to inform yourself, we're now going to be doing some classes, and we're thinking about doing a Tampa Bay Breakfast Boot Camp too.
A Tampa Bay Breakfast Club Boot Camp. Listen, it's going to be happening when the youngsters get out of school. We're going to need everybody to come join up with the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. We got amazing promotionals that we're going to be doing for it. Everybody come out. Boot camps are so much more fun when you get more people. And we're going to do the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club Boot Camp. Who's ready? Who's ready?
So I'm going to tell you, I don't like boot camps, but I'm going to be there. When, where, and are the classes? Okay, so more information is coming. We're like, just stay tuned. Just know that we are cooking it up and getting it ready. We just kind of wanted to throw it out there and let y'all know because we talked about it before. So I don't want you to think that we forgot about it because we didn't. And we're going to make sure that we get these classes out there for our community because, one, we want everybody to protect themselves, armed and unarmed.
Armed and unarmed.
And then, if you want to be summertime fine, but we're probably not going to make summertime fine at this time. It'll be like fall time, wintertime fine.
And think about this. And this, again, Q, we're going to take another stab at controversy here. You ready?
No.
We have a growing movement of individuals.
I said no.
Who are seeking to give natural birth through uterine transplants. I want you to think about this. American Africans and African people are the largest carriers of type O blood. Type O blood is what's considered the universal donor because it doesn't have antibodies that interact with other blood types. The individuals who have uteruses, because blood and tissue both are RH factor, both have RH factors, means positive or negative in types AB, ABO. Black women are the carriers of type O blood, positive and negative. In the United States, the predominant carriers. And they also have the type of tissue that won't be rejected as universal donation. What do you think the uteruses are going to come from? For the uterine transplants, the individuals who wish to give natural birth but need a uterine transplant, where do you think these uteruses are going to come from? Especially if you have tens up until hundreds of thousands of missing Black girls every year in the United States. They just go away. They disappear. Where do you think their uteruses are going to go? Think about this, family. When we talk about safety and security, when we talk about protecting yourself, don't just think about what's going to happen on the block. Think about the individuals who see your body and never stop seeing your body as a commodity. Think about that. Think about the people who see your organs and only see, you know what? You know what that look like to me? That look like a fresh transplant.
That looks like money.
That looks like money. How come old people don't get killed in drive-bys? You ever asked that? How come old people don't ever seem to get killed in drive-bys? It's always somebody young and healthy. I want you to think about this, people, family. Think about this in this controversy. Think about it.
So I said no, but I'm glad that you dropped it. I knew it was going to be heavy. I knew it was going to be heavy. That's why I said no, because I was trying. But you know what? It is something that makes you say, But so just be aware. You know what? So kind of to piggyback before we do the Ask Qiana, this is another the one, right? So you know how like you call do you have pets?
No, I don't have any.
You don't like pets?
No, I love pets.
Okay.
I have snakes. I like snakes.
Okay, so dogs.
Yes.
Let's go with dogs right quick.
Awesome.
Cause they take naps. Damien said cause they take naps.
That's why old people don't get shot drive. Could be.
Okay, so dogs. So you always call their names. Do you ever tell your dog what your name is?
I've never told my dog what my name was. Any dog I've had in the past, never.
That's something, right?
That's interesting. What do you think your dog calls you?
I don't know. So I'm gonna test a theory. We're gonna go home and tell the dog to go to Qiana.
Okay.
and see if he knows, if Blue know I'm Qiana.
All right, Blue. Listen, come in for us, Blue. Come in for us.
Good morning, Mama Blue. Look, and then Blue popped in. Mama Blue popped. No, it's just something. It was just a conversation. I was like, we don't never say, hey, this Qiana, but we always call their names.
That's interesting.
It is food for thought. All right, go ahead. Ask Qiana.
Here we go. Ask Qiana. We need some Ask Qiana music. We're gonna start queuing up.
Okay.
Okay. Listen, my partner and I have been together for a while, and we generally agree on most things. However, we recently discovered that we have differing opinions on the Second Amendment. While I strongly believe in the right to bear arms, my partner is more skeptical and thinks there should be stricter gun control measures. This disagreement is causing tension between us, and we're not sure how to find common ground or discuss the issue without it turning into a heated argument. Can you offer any advice on how we can respectively and respectfully navigate this difference of opinion and maintain a healthy relationship?
That's a hard one. I'm going to tell you that is. I have to really kind of think about that. And so if y'all know, like, I typically don't know the Ask Qianas. So it's really like I have to think about it. And this one right here is, so in any relationship, you can agree to disagree, right? And then you have to respect. What I'm learning too is that just because you have a strong opinion about it, you don't have to force it on somebody else. You can stand where you stand and not force it on it. And where I'm hearing right now is both parties is trying to pull either one to the other side. And it's okay that y'all not on the same side. But I do think if y'all are together, the common goal is that your family is safe. And then if you're on the side where no guns, you're not into the Second Amendment, and then your partner is, just know that that gun that's in the house is locked up and safe. And if you're not there to call the police, because that's going to be your choice when somebody comes in and try to rob or do something like that, your partner, on the other hand, can then take out the gun and protect the house, right?
Right.
And you got to realize that there's more than one way to skin a cat. And just because you stand on this side doesn't mean just because the other person stand on the other side is wrong. I mean, as long as everybody's have safety, right? And doing it properly, I don't see why it has to be such a big issue. But again, it's an issue because you're trying to convince somebody to believe what you believe. And all you need to do is just say, respect my thoughts and stand on what you think. And then your partner need to do the same. So if you respect each other enough, you know that the decision that either one of you are made that you feel is best for the family. And if you trust your partner, you know that they're making the best decision either way. Now that's kind of my thoughts.
Okay.
Go. What you got to say?
Leave her.
Oh my God.
Leave her.
Well, no. Because how you know it ain't a he?
Leave. Well, I thought it was written.
So let's hit it, because we talk about this on the radio station all the time. And so since we talked about that, Brother John's wife is with guns. Brother John say no. And ain't nobody leaving each other there.
Well, ain't no tension there either.
There's
no tension and no hostility built around the subject.
So it's not leave her, because again, this is a two-party thing. Both of them at this point are being argumentative about it. Both of them at this point from this letter is trying to stand their grounds and pull either way. So if he's the one that's saying no guns and she's the one that's saying, I want my gun.
Leave her. I think leaving people has got a bad rap. There are a lot of people on this planet, and there are people who agree with the way you feel. People would come before they overturn Roe, and they would talk about how much they absolutely hated so-called a woman's right to choose, right? So they would say, well, Donnie, what's your opinion of this? I say, if you don't believe in abortion, don't have one. And if you don't believe in abortion, don't have sex with somebody who does. It's very, 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 very simple. We complicate these things by we adding up all these nuances with them. If you are with a person and that person is opposed to the freedom or unrestricted gun rights as they determine, then it's perfectly fine to say, I think you're a beautiful person. I really do respect your ideology. Bye.
So I'm going to say it's easier said than done. Matters of the heart. No. For somebody who's been married almost 20 years, right?
Been married 20 years, been together 21.
Okay, so it's easier to say because let's put this: if you and Crystal right now have a heated discussion and y'all cannot see eye to eye, this one thing is not going to make you want to leave and depart your family.
I didn't. Well, okay.
Okay, no. But when you say leave her,
right?
But the thing is when you're looking at relationships with
Well, let me explain that only because you brought it in. I didn't pick anybody. that would come up with any issues that would make me leave them.
But so this is the thing.
That's the thing.
But again, just like life, you're constantly learning about each other. There's no way that you ever know anything about, like, there's impossible. You may know the core who they is, but people are constantly evolving, right? And you're constantly learning people. Things that you liked last year, you don't like no more. Possibly. You know what I mean? You are growing. You were doing personal training on a regular basis. You're no longer doing that anymore, right? So things do change, and then your opinion on life may change throughout your path in life, and that doesn't make you a bad person, and nor does that make your love any less, because
it can definitely make you a bad person depending on what your opinion is when it changes.
No, your actions make you a bad person,
and your opinions lead to your actions. Actions are the result of something. Actions are the result of thinking. And thinking is the result of the capacity to think. You only think with the brain that you were given. I think that people need to understand that, especially when they're choosing mates, especially when they're procreating. You only think with the brain that you were given from your parents. That limits your ability to conceive the world. It's right there in the brain that you were given from both of your parents. We only have what's on the bus. So with that being the case, don't choose anybody that is going to make you have to do a hard left or a hard right turn. You know something? My wife and I don't argue. And it's crazy because people are like, yeah, all couples argue. All couples. We don't, because we both made a decision that we like peace. So we just don't do it. That doesn't work for everybody. Some people are more happy when they're arguing. Like,
right. So I don't like to argue. Like, I'm okay with us having disagreements. I don't like to argue. I think that you can have healthy conversations about things that bother you without it getting loud and where you're screaming and hollering, or it gets even elevated there. So I'm a peaceful person right there. But like you be say, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. I think it's really harsh with this one statement. It's not saying like, hey, everything in our life is chaotic. It's this subject right here that is, and I don't think that that's a reason to say leave them, not leave her, not leave him, not that at all. Charles just said growing apart and growing together is different. It is, and sometimes people do grow apart, but the growing apart, I guarantee it has nothing to do with the gun law.
I don't know. Like we talk about not throwing out the baby with the bathwater, right? But you do flush the turd with the toilet water. So you understand there you do.
But you don't. But you flush it. You flush it, but you don't get rid of the toilet bowl.
No.
You don't.
The toilet bowl is yourself, but the turd has to go with the water. And so what I'm saying is that there are opportunities where you have to throw out what's in the water, because what's in the water and the water itself just don't fit. And there are certain things. Listen. Okay, I'm not going to share that story. But there are certain things that are completely incompatible with peace. There are certain people who are disagreeable to live with in peace. And because we've been taught that we should be joined and united with somebody and should make it work, we don't find the people who actually bring us peace. And if they are having this knockdown, drag out argument, or this disagreement over something as trivial as gun ownership or gun control or gun rights, then perhaps they're not based for each other.
Now, I will say, I will probably agree with you on that. They may not, but I'm not saying throw it away. And I will say, and I will tell you, if this is a huge argument, Alice, I'm showing that or thinking that these people don't respect each other's views.
There are plenty of women.
Why?
Let's just say this. Let's
plenty
say
of people. Yeah, plenty of people. Let's go.
No, I'm gonna put it in gendered terms.
Okay.
There are plenty of women who love guns.
Okay.
There are plenty of men who don't.
Okay.
If you know that you're a man and you love guns, it wouldn't be wise for you to couple with a woman who doesn't. If you're a woman who doesn't love guns, it wouldn't be wise for you to couple or continue a relationship with a man who does. Find the person who best shares your principles. And if the person doesn't, leave them. Leave them. Leave them.
So Donnie said leave the relationship. I do subscribe to find the person that you have the same principles with or whatever that may. But again, like this is something that came out later on in a relationship. When it comes to the matters of heart, it's not that easy. They did say that. Read it. Go ahead, reread. Reread it.
Okay, well, listen. My partner and I have been together for a while, and we generally agree on most things. However, we recently discovered that we have different opinions on the Second Amendment. I got you.
So this is nothing that was brought up at the beginning.
What if they had different opinions of the First Amendment? I tell you what. What if they had different opinions of the 13th Amendment? Let's go there, Q. Since we're here and it's the breakfast show and we don't mind getting controversial, suppose your partner came and told you, I really think slavery is all right. Like, it's cool. Honestly, I don't agree with the 13th Amendment. This whole thing, I kind of think that people should still be enslaved. We can really get a lot from that. That would be a deal breaker. That would be and listen, Breakfast Club.
So this is the thing is some stuff are deal breakers and some stuff is not.
But it's the Second Amendment, right?
But the Second Amendment, so it doesn't hold. So again, I'm going to say that for me, this is for me because some people, like you just said, it's a deal breaker for you. It's not a deal breaker for me.
13th Amendment wouldn't be a deal breaker for you.
No, 13th Amendment would be a deal breaker.
Hey Q, what would you tell her? What would you tell her to do?
Listen.
Don't you do this to me, no. Listen. What would Qiana, if this man came and said that this woman came, right, and she said that her man told her, I think that slavery thing is kind of all right.
Now, are we the slave masters?
Or the 21st?
I mean, listen, who has the power is the question.
Exactly.
So it all depends how you. So who are we? No, I'm just joking.
You would say
no. So all joking.
What would you say, Q? What would your advice be? To her?
No, I will probably leave at that point because that would be a deal breaker for me. But the Second Amendment is not a deal breaker. But see, this is the thing: is it's a lot of gray when you look at a lot of stuff, right? It's not black and white. So you know what I mean? Some things are deal breakers and some not. The Second Amendment is not a deal breaker for me because
what about the first?
Listen.
What if they told you, Q, that you didn't have the right? I've been with you for a while, Q, and I kind of understand. You need to shut up when in the morning time. You do not have the freedom of speech. You need to just be quiet and let the men that are on the show do the talking. We don't need to hear your voice. You shouldn't have the freedom of speech. If somebody came and told you that, Q, you would tell them, don't listen. Don't let the doorknob hit you. Well, the good Lord split you. Q, good.
So I will tell them this is everybody has an opinion. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that it's valid. And if you do not like listening to my high squeaky voice,
what if they told you that though? Q?
And then you know what? I will tell them they are welcome to not listen at any time. But I'm not going to stop talking.
What if they say, no, listen, this is what we're disagreeing about, Q. You need to stop. I need you to, not only that, Q, not only that, I need you to just be quiet and just be quiet. Don't say nothing else, Qiana. Nothing. In public, you do not have access to your freedom of speech. Qiana, I tell you what, Qiana, what if this happened? What if you were working on a campaign, right? And that individual told you, and I hope you don't expect you're gonna go to the polls, because as a woman, I don't think you should have the right to vote. This whole, 1920 21st Amendment thing.
But see, no.
So, you don't have the right to
this
vote.
is what the difference between saying the amendment to disagreement. One is saying, hey, I want guns. The other one saying no. Neither one of them are restricting each other, but they're trying to convince each other. So what you're saying here on the other side is that no, you are not allowed to do anything. Right now, they're just saying a disagreement or where they stand at. Right here, you're making a demand that I cannot do. So there is a difference in this conversation right here, because not in this context in the ex Qiana, nobody said, hey, you can't carry the gun. They just disagree on it. Right. But when you're looking at the amendment 1, when he say, hey, sit down, shut up and listen.
Because I disagree with your ability to have free speech.
Right. You're demanding that I don't. Right here, they're just disagreeing on where they stand at. Nobody over here has demanded him not or her to not carry their gun. They just don't agree with it, and they're going back and forth.
So you can disagree with the 13th, and that'll get you the boot out the door.
Oh, I mean, if you're because this is because again, if you think that slavery is where you want to be, I just don't agree with that right there. You know what I mean?
But that's a deal breaker.
I think it would be. Or, I mean, you want me to tell you, like, it might not be a deal breaker because you can think it's good. We ain't going back. What you want? What's your one person gonna do?
As far as what?
Like me, yeah. If you was like, yo, I think slavery's good. Okay. Tell your mama.
And leave and tell on your way out the door.
Yeah.
Tell on your way out the door, because I won't continue to share space with you if we have that kind of disagreement. But I feel you, cute.
So that tell your mama.
Your mammy.
Tell
your mammy.
No, okay. You know what? Final thoughts. We got to get out of here.
Final thoughts. Expand your gangster. Use yourself or be used by others. Understand where your interests lie and be a part of your own liberation.
All right. Be the change you want to be or see. Write down those 5 things. If you're looking for something to do tonight, 8:00, tune in to Damon Davis podcast. Up there like Granny Panties, St. Pete Funny. And then, we have Urban Drinkery is always open. Not today, but through the week. If you're looking for somewhere to go at, 31 Grand on Wednesday. So yes, look out for us. On Wednesday, we'll be back. This is Qiana.
This is the Intellectual Gangster, your brother Donnie.
This has been the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club, and y'all have a wonderful day.